Are you gonna say Merry Christmas? Come here. You don't want to? You don't want to say Merry Christmas? There's nothing to see here, people, except this cute little baby puppy dog. Millie does want to say Merry Christmas to you. But look how cute she is in her little... She's wearing a very traditional tartan and cable knit sweater dress this season. They had all these cute little dog sweaters at TJ Maxx when my mom and I were there. We always get the animals treats and stuff every year for Christmas. I love spoiling the fur babies, and Millie's always cold, and so she was asking for a turtleneck that was on her Christmas list. So she was a good girl and she got what she wanted this year. All right, Merry Christmas, everyone. I am so excited to share this year's holiday home tour with you. Many of you know that my husband and I live in a Victorian home, and our home was built in 1885. And I grew up watching, you know, those traditional Christmas movies. And what was my favorite movies when I was little were Uncle Buck, and of course A Christmas Story, and Christmas Vacation. All those funny ones are so cool. But I remember a lot of them were more traditional Victorian homes, or like colonial style homes. And when I think about Christmas nostalgia, nothing is more magical than seeing an old home decorated for Christmas. I'm really excited to share our old home with you this holiday season. This is our entryway, and I've actually kept this pretty simple compared to years past. I usually put like a big garland all lit up the stairway, but this year we decided to use that same garland on the front porch, like around the door, and it looks beautiful out there. This year, I really, honestly, I tried my best not to go out and buy a whole lot of new things. I wanted to use things that I've already had and kind of rework them in a different way with a different theme. So the entryway is actually quite simple. I have a tendency to kind of overdo things like right when you walk in. And most people, when they come into your home, they just want to take off their coat and their shoes. And so I wanted to keep this space elegant and as simple as possible. My dad got this really neat stag bowl for me in an estate sale. I think that it was like maybe a champagne bucket or some kind of like an ice bucket, but it's really neat. And so I popped in one of our plants. Thank goodness this baby is still thriving, might I say. I think I finally found a good spot for the light for this one. But I just popped it on here with some really beautiful white and silver mercury glass twinkle lights. And then on top, there is a silver runner going across this with all these neat sequins. And it's one of those kinds where if you rub your hand one way on it, they all turn silver, and then the opposite way, they're gold. So it's kind of cool because I can use this in different places in our home, or even if I change my theme, like I can move it to the gold theme or whatever I decide to do. And then the candelabras were also from an estate sale. These were from my parents last Christmas, so it was really fun to use them in this holiday season's decor. This entire like look really reminded me of ice, something like you'd see like in the Arctic Circle or something. But you'll find that most of my holiday decor is secondhand. So I love to find my Christmas pieces, especially at estate sales. That's where you can really find the neat old stuff. And I also love looking at Goodwill, as you know, other random thrift stores and garage sales throughout the year. And then I have some new things kind of sprinkled in, but a majority of it is secondhand. This wreath is one of my favorite DIYs. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'm gonna link it down in the description box for you. But the wreath itself is one of those styrofoam ones that came from the dollar store. And then I'm always collecting and saving vintage broken jewelry bits. And so I've covered this entire wreath in old broken necklaces, brooches that were missing stones, single earrings, like fake pearls and stuff. And it's so heavy. Like even though this wreath is small, it probably weighs about 5 pounds. And I was trying to figure out for the life of me, like, how am I gonna hang this thing? But I had this like vintage beaded belt, which I'm totally gonna wear that later on this season with some dresses, but I just hung it around the ice bucket and then to the top of the wreath here. And it's super sturdy. I think it looks really pretty in this cabinet. And this cabinet I keep all my like scented candles and stuff into, so it's a great little storage piece. I love how this all turned out together. It just looks really icy cool. We're in my dining room now, and it's kind of one of those dark winter days, so I hope that the coloring is coming across for you. But if you've been a subscriber of mine for some time, you probably remember that this room was all white in here. I just couldn't decide how I wanted to decorate it, and I'm one of those people that I realize now, when you're creating a home, it's good to live there and let the home speak to you and just become familiar with it and think and dream on those things of how you want to decorate and the colors that you want to choose and stuff. So that's why I chose just to leave this room white. And then I had this like vision of this really beautiful, like warm, sandy, peachy color with these dark, dramatic drapes. You know when you're laying in bed and you're like, I know what I'm gonna do. It's one of those. So I love how this room all turned out in here. This Christmas, we're gonna be hosting a Christmas Eve appetizer and cocktail party. It's really fun. We just invite the neighbors over and family and friends and stuff. I think we're probably gonna have maybe a dozen people over, which is perfect because our house really isn't that big, so it's gonna fill up pretty quickly. But here in the dining room is where we're gonna be having all the food and festivities, you know, the good stuff. My poor poinsettia, Pete went to Costco and he got these because they have those really big ones there. They're a really great deal. I love going to that nursery that I brought you to last year, but you're very much paying for the experience of that nursery because it's pretty expensive there. So Costco was a great deal, but this poor poinsettia has about 10 leaves left. They all keep falling off. So I really don't know if it's gonna make it for our holiday party or not, but right now it looks good. I try not to move it around or shake it too much, but I might end up putting like a really beautiful floral arrangement on this table. This is where we're gonna be putting like all of the appetizers and stuff. Pete and I, we've done some Christmas dinners before in our past, and I don't know, I just like, we talked about this and we realized that we would rather like relax and enjoy and eat good food and talk to friends and family rather than like cleaning and doing dishes in the kitchen the whole time. So now what we do is we just do big appetizer parties. So we usually prep everything the day before, and then there's only like a handful of warm foods that need to be cooked, and that way we can just enjoy and relax. You know, that's what it's all about. The beautiful burgundy tablecloth I found at Goodwill. I was so excited. It was like the tail end of the Christmas season, and I feel like right at first, it's almost like October, you know, when Goodwill gets all the holiday stuff. They had so many tablecloths, and then I just kept forgetting to look at the beautiful red ones, and I found the perfect dark burgundy color. I love this because it's really rich and it has like this embroidered type of leafy design on it. And then along the whole top of the table, do you remember these things? My mom and I went on a neighborhood-wide garage sale event. It was insane. If you haven't seen that series of videos, it's so much fun, and it's just so much fun to get away right now and go to garage sales. So I'm gonna link that in the description for you too. But I found like a whole handful of these weeds, and everybody, I have to show you, these are so neat. I bet they were really expensive too, because there are tags on these that say made in England, and they look like they're really well made. Like they're all like a paper and silk. And then the leaves, I think, are falling apart on here. I had little poinsettia leaves, but I think they were real and they were gilded. They're really fragile, and so they're kind of crumbly now, but they have fruits like pears and apples on them. And then this dark burgundy color matches my tablecloth like so perfectly. I love these. I was originally thinking of making a big garland over the top of the fireplace in here, but then I decided to do a really big runner with it instead. I think it's kind of fun and adds some texture. Maybe next year I'll be putting this over on the fireplace. These are called aprons. Apron. You know how we do. So these are a very traditional Victorian piece, and I love them. I have a few different colors. I have some Fenton milk glass ones that aren't quite so old. These ones are very old. I got these in Montana on a road trip with Pete. Oh man, I think that was about 9 years ago. Now we went on this big fun Wild West road trip, and it was one of those neat antique malls in these old silos, and I spotted the pair in here. For some reason, I only bought one because they were sold separately, and I got in the car with Pete and I was like, oh, I got this cool thing, you know, and there was another one. He's like, why didn't you get both? And I'm the one always telling you, like, if you see a pair, you should get it. Well, this is one of the reasons why. So we turned around, we drove back to the little town. Luckily, we weren't too far away. And I ran in and I was like, I need the other matching one. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm glad I got both over here. Way back in the day, this was something that was kind of a staple in a Victorian home. And you would see these on mantles, on tables like this, or on a piano top, if you were so lucky. But these would house flowers in this little reservoir here. So this piece comes apart. I have that tacky glue stuff in here to kind of keep it together, but this part comes apart and it's like a little vase. And then the reservoir area down here, Victorians, when they were hosting, loved to have things like fruits. That was very much a luxury back in the day, having, you know, cherries and strawberries and oranges. You know, everything's not so convenient like it is now. And then in the top would be like a beautiful floral arrangement for your guests, so it would look really pretty. And then I just put these little battery candles in it for now. These always make my husband nervous because he always thinks I left candles on, but they're batteries, so I don't get in trouble. Our sideboard over here is something that I keep all of my vases in and stuff. People are always asking me, you know, oh, you're going to all these thrift stores and stuff. Where do you put all your stuff? Well, I donate a lot. I try to donate stuff like every month. I'll go through my stuff and you know, kind of high grade and pick things out that I'm not using any longer. And then things that I'm keeping, I keep down below in here. So I have our silverware and then a lot of my thrifted vases and stuff down below. On the top here, I just wanted to keep it a bit simple. I'll probably light some more candles when we have guests over. But these glassy babies, these are like holy grail when you're out Goodwill shopping. These are really expensive if you haven't seen them before, but glassy babies are made here in the Pacific Northwest, and we actually have sample sales, which is really fun. I went with my mother-in-law a few years ago, and ladies that were professionals, they went into the sample sale with flashlights and used like the lights on their iPhones to see how the babies would glow. But I found these at Goodwill for only, I think it was like $1.99 or $2.99 a piece. I have 3 of them, but I just popped the 2 here on either side of the candelabras. There's such a beautiful, beautiful glow. And if you see them at Goodwill, you have to snap them up because most glassy babies, they cost anywhere from like $80 to $150 if it's some kind of collectible color. I'm not really up to date on that. I just kind of, you know, if I see it at Goodwill and I like it, I'll get it. I think I'm gonna have a fire. Finally this year, we got all of our chimneys clean. Chimney swept, that's what it's called, a chimney sweep. So anyways, we got them all cleaned and they're ready this year, and Pete and I have never had a fire in this fireplace. It's still open for wood burning. And I always thought, like, how fun would it be to have a real Victorian dinner? I mean, I'm gonna cook my food normally like on the stove, but I mean like in the dark. Wouldn't it be fun to light a fire and eat by candlelight in here? I don't know, I love to think about how the Victorians lived. I love to think about our neighborhood and when the streets were dirt and gravel and people had horses tied up outside and what the house even looked like back in the day. I have such a fantasy just thinking about those things. And that's one of like the little things where I feel like I might get a taste of that, you know, just kind of eating in the dark by candlelight and a fire. It just sounds really fun, you know, it's so simple. But so I'm finally gonna do that this year. And on the top, I wanted to show you this mantle. So this is where I was thinking maybe next year, I'm gonna do that big like fruity garland on here with some greenery and stuff. I think that'll be gorgeous. But I wanted to kind of keep this entire color palette fairly simple. So everything in here is gold, pink, and red. And on the top here, I have these beautiful mantle lusters. I got these on Poshmark a few years ago. I was so nervous. They came all the way from Florida to Oregon, and I was like, please don't let them break. But the girl packed them like a pro, and these, look at those big crystal spears. They're so pretty. I did put battery candles in these. I don't like to burn actual wax candles. Even if they say they're a dripless candle, it makes me nervous. So I put the battery ones in here, and this just adds like a really pretty glow. And then this big cranberry wreath and glittery feathers. And I had these bows last year tied on our entryway, so I just added this big velvet sweeping bow here on the top. I think it's really simple, but it's elegant. This room is basically going to be all about the food. I don't think anyone will be looking at my decorations. Bay leaf, and I love it because it's not glittery. You know, a lot of Christmas stuff has that glitter and you'll be cleaning it up for months afterwards. This is so wonderful because there's no like residue or nothing flying off in your face with this one. So I added 2 garlands actually of this to kind of cascade around the mantle surround that we have. And then along the top, I added these really beautiful little bows on these white egrets. We have a lot of egrets here in Oregon, and we live pretty close to like some swampland and farm fields and stuff. And when you go out in the early morning, the white egrets are out there hunting for mice and bugs dogs and stuff. So it's something that you see a lot here in Oregon. And I wanted to keep some of my everyday decor here along with my Christmas stuff. So I thought, you know what, if I just pop a little bow on it, it makes it look like Christmas. All of the stockings over here were from Goodwill. I wanted to do, again, kind of a more, I guess, traditional and simplistic color palette in here. And this year, I just wanted to do blues and golds in this room. If you watched my video last year, it was very much like it was Candyland in here. There's so much pink and like everything looked like yummy candy colors and pastels. And this year, I just wanted to go a little more like traditional and elegant looking. Goodwill has such an abundance of stockings, and I found these really beautiful velvet and satin ones. They have this pretty like embroidery on them that says peace and this rope detailing. They're so pretty. Down below, and the little tree down here, this tree was an estate sale find. My mom got that for me years ago, and it's so gorgeous. Sometimes I put it in a champagne bucket, and this year I put it in a beautiful chinoiserie antique flower pot. It's one of those beautiful flower pots that you don't really want to put dirt in, so it's just perfect for Christmas time like this. I think that's a little trick I could tell you about maybe elevating some of your Christmas decor is repotting your trees in something not so traditional, like a flower pot like this, or a gorgeous old antique champagne bucket, or a beautiful basket. You know, it kind of makes things look that much more special. So I'll have you know, before I started this video, there were dog beds and dog toys everywhere. It just looked like a daycare in here. I'm keeping the lights kind of low right now just because I want you to feel what it feels like in this room. This is one of my favorite rooms because we have so much natural light in here, and the fireplace. It's just a really beautiful, calming place to be, and I kind of want you to feel that a little bit with me. But the tree this year, so this is the same tree that I've had for the past couple years. This is an artificial tree that is flocked. I thought about getting a real flocked tree, but the cost of those, I was like, oh, I might as well get a fake one, you know, that I can keep using every year. But this year, I wanted to have blues on my tree. I did not find the cobalt blue ornaments of my dreams. You know how long I've been looking at Goodwill, thrift stores, all the antique malls in the world, asking everybody I know if they've had old blue ornaments. And I still didn't find them. So I think over this next year of thrifting, that'll be something I will add. But I did tie on these really beautiful velvet bows. My cousin sent me a link. They have these like big spools on Amazon. So I got those, and I tied these gorgeous little bows on here. And then on each tip are these really beautiful, beautiful old glass ornaments. My mom went to an estate years ago, and she got like 10 boxes of these beautiful Tiffany blue ornaments, and I love them because I can mix them with any color. Like, they looked amazing with my pinks last year, and they look so pretty this year, just more elegant and simplistic. And then this was really cool. One of my subscribers wrote me, and she told me that she saves her dried hydrangea, whoops, there we go, each year for Christmas. So she'll enjoy them in the fall because they're so beautiful for dried arrangements. And then she told me she pokes them in her Christmas tree, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that looks like. So I tried it, and I love how it adds like a really neat texture, and it kind of adds something a little bit unexpected. They look a bit gold, and they bring out more of the cool tones that I was looking for with the blues, and they were free. The best number. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you about this dress because I feel like it's so holiday Barbie. I got this on an auction website. I think it was like one of those dresses that were like a sample for bridal shops or something. And I was like, please let it fit me, please let it fit me, because the measurements were like exact. You know, and you need to get things that are like a little bit bigger so you can breathe and stuff. And when it came, I was like, zip. Hallelujah, and it fits. So I just feel like this is so pretty for Christmas. I don't know if I'm gonna wear this when everyone comes over. I'll probably be a little bit overdressed compared. I don't think it's gonna be a white tie event, but most people when they come over and visit for the holidays, everyone's just wearing jeans and cozy sweaters and stuff. But I wanted to be able to wear this beautiful dress with you because it's so, so pretty. I'm curious too, because I never get to see your home, and you've seen my home decorated for the holidays over the years. What colors are you decorating in this year? I'm wondering if you have like a color concept or a theme that you love to do, or if you just get out everything and love on it all. Leave me a comment below and let me know. Every year year I wrap all of my Christmas presents in the same coloring. I just think it looks like really beautiful and stylized that way. TJ Maxx and Marshalls has some amazing wrapping papers. I got one of them though. It's kind of funny. I got to show you this one real quick though, because the paper was so cool. Look at this. It was like a metallic snake print, but the tape won't stick on these. It's like so thick and gritty. I don't know, none of my tape would stick on. I got packing tape and all kinds of stuff to put on here and nothing would stick. So I put on a big ribbony bow around it to kind of hold the ends a little bit, but I don't think anyone's gonna be peeking into any of the presents. That's usually what I end up doing every year. Don't tell. When you bring a giant tree in your house, you kind of have to rearrange the whole living room, so things are a bit funny compared to how I normally have them in here. But you may have remembered not so long ago, I included this really beautiful table in one of my vlog videos, and I got this on Facebook Marketplace. It was really nice because I needed something a little bit wider to kind of have some more space to decorate on. I'm still gonna hide that little sound bar somewhere underneath, but I just think it's so pretty. The coloring is gorgeous. I popped on some tables and these big old lusters. These are my very first ones that I ever got. I got them from my favorite auction house for $60 for the pair, which is an amazing steal if you're a collector, but I love this beautiful amber color. I do change out the candles in these ones. Sometimes I'll have green or white, and then this year I have a beautiful red. It kind of pulls in that warmth in the lamp over there and stuff, but I love how this all turned out. My mom got this little vase here, this pretty cobalt blue for me at an estate sale for $1. Thanks, Mom. These faux, like, what is it? Not even faux greeneries, faux goldery. These were from Goodwill, and then these are old antique ostrich plumes. I once got a flapper dress from an estate sale, and these were like tied on the dress, so I love to use these in my decor. I just think they're so beautiful and romantic. This is my very first year ever like decorating the kitchen, and I'm gonna do it every year now. You know, my mom, she came over and she said, "You need to put a wreath up there for Christmas." And I was dreaming on it. I was like, Mom's right. So I got this beautiful wreath and this garland and just swagged them over top of the window. And I think I'm gonna do this just every year. It really was so simple, but it added such a really great like warmth and just kind of a pow factor here in the kitchen. I just love how it smells too, because it's a real greenery one. It's so good. But then I just popped on some poinsettias and glassy babies that I just stole from the dining room. But they look really beautiful here in the kitchen as well. I just wanted you to see this little space. Normally we have all the appetizers and stuff here on the island, but I wanted people to kind of migrate to the dining room. You know, everyone calls the kitchen the heart of the home, and that's always what happens. So I think maybe in here I might have like wines and cocktails and stuff, and then put all the food and stuff in the dining room this year. Yeah, I just love how it's looking in here. It's all festive and stuff. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you had fun with me and enjoyed your visit to our home. I personally want to tell you thank you so much for being a subscriber of my channel, and really thank you for being really warm and welcoming to my family. It's a scary place to be, made me a little bit nervous, you know, because I love my family and I want to keep them safe and stuff, but I was a little nervous, you know, to be showing more bits of my personal life and my family on YouTube. But you guys have been so kind and welcoming, and my mom's having so much fun being a part of my channel more. She's my best friend, you know, and she's a big part of my life, and I'm really glad that you also have fun shopping with my mom and I and just spending girl time together, and I just appreciate you and your warmth and welcoming in that. So thank you so much, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I'm gonna be taking a little week off after the holidays here, but I hope that you're getting lots of rest and just enjoying the season of peace and restoration, and I will see you next year for another beautiful year ahead. Thanks so much.